Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Story Adventures. Good. So I'm just going to give everybody, I see one person is ready on. I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes before I get into my story for today. So before we get into our story for today, we're going to talk a little bit about our story from last week. We learned about the Good Samaritan. So today I have a new story for all of you. So I'm just going to wait for one more minute. You can share, invite. Awesome. So let's get right into it. I always want to start with the theme song. So it just goes story adventures, and then you're going to give me a, clip. And then you're going to say story adventures again, and then you're going to snap, snap. And then you're going to give me the, I don't know, the smiley hands, and then you're just going to say with Miss Kesa. So let's do it. Story adventures, story adventures with Miss Kesa. Okay, so welcome, welcome, welcome. Today I have an awesome story for you. The title of our story is called Jesus Calms the Storm. So, boys and girls, sometimes each of us, or all of us, go through difficult experiences where we need Jesus to be there to calm the storm. So let's listen in on our story for today. One day, Jesus told his disciples that it was time to cross to the other side of the sea. So now, boys and girls, what color do you think the sea was? Because sometimes, I know I live here in the Bahamas, our sea is many different shades of blue. So some parts of the sea is aquamarine, and then other parts are deep blue. So what color is the sea where you live? Okay. Many of Jesus' disciples were fishermen. Now I have a question for you smart boys and girls. What does a fisherman do? I'm going to give you a minute to think. What does a fisherman do? That's correct. A fisherman, they go out on their boats and they catch fish. So Jesus was on this boat with his disciples who were fishermen. Okay, so they climbed aboard onto the boats and they went across the sea. So now, boys and girls, those who are listening, I'm going to need you to stand up and pretend that you are climbing on that boat with Jesus and his disciples. So you're going to move your hands and you're going to move your feet and you're going to pretend as if you're climbing onto the boat with Jesus and his disciples. Fun, right? Okay, let's continue in our story. Then, when they were in the middle of the sea, the wind began to blow. Soon they were in the middle of a storm. Oh no, boys and girls. There was thunder and lightning, and the waves were so high. Soon the boat began to fill with water. They were terrified. I know if I was there, I would be afraid also. Would you be afraid, boys and girls, if you were on the boat and then suddenly a storm came about? Let's continue. Meanwhile, guess what Jesus was doing? Jesus was sleeping in the boat. Do you think that Jesus was scared? Because the story says that he was sleeping in the boat. That's right, boys and girls. If he was sleeping, he couldn't be scared. His disciples could not believe it. Here they were in the middle of a huge and terrible storm. And guess what Jesus was doing? Sleeping like a baby. Jesus wasn't afraid. They woke Jesus and asked him, "Don't you care if we drown in the middle of the sea?" And guess what Jesus did, boys and girls? Jesus simply stood up, looked at the storm, and said, "Peace, be still. And just like that, the storm was over. Instantly, the wind stopped and the storm went away. His disciples were in awe. They knew that only God could control the weather. They bowed down and worshiped Jesus. They knew that he cared and that nothing was impossible with him. Boys and girls, we all go through various storms in our lives. Some storms are scary and painful, just like the one that the disciples went through. But guess what? They had Jesus there with them. So no matter what we go through in this life, Jesus is always there to protect us. Sometimes it may seem as though Jesus is sleeping in the boat, just like from our story. But remember that Jesus is always with us. So, this is your reminder for this week. No matter the hard times, the storms, the scary things that we go through, remember that Jesus is always with us and that He cares for us and that He will deliver us. So, that is our story for today. Jesus calms the storm. So whenever we are afraid, whenever we are scared, we can pray to Jesus and we know that he will also calm our storms and he is the solution to all of our problems. So let's sing our theme song one more time before we close out. Okay, let's go. Story adventures, story adventures with Miss Kesa. Awesome, boys and girls. So our story was short today. Make sure and share with your friends and your family. And I will see you next week, Thursday, for more story adventures. Bye bye.